Who is your daddy?
I am the father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?
Well, let's get started so you boys can get to your beds. I know you're tired.
Thanks, Dad.
I am exhausted.
It's no problem. And someone nearby is having a bonfire or something, and it smells amazing.
I do enjoy that smell.
I
It's
do
a nice
too.
smell.
We got all the windows open. It's a nice, cool, breezy evening. So we got windows open. So if you hear noise in the background, let me know. I'll shut some windows. But right now it's fantastic.
You're probably going to, Eli's watching a movie. You're probably going to pick that up too.
Yeah, what's he watching?
Teen Titan Go, the movie.
Teen Titans.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, we are rolling with episode 170 of Fathers of the Grind. My name's Tim Nestor. I'm here as always with Derek Teague and with Daniel Freitas.
Hello.
Daniel, welcome to the show again. And I think we'll just go ahead and have you stay more regularly. How's that sound?
No.
I'm still
No.
thinking about it. I don't really
No.
know. I might actually just go to bed right now, to be honest.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
You didn't even get to answer until Derek jumped in.
Yeah, well,
No.
it's because he loves me a lot, so.
No. Canceling
much.
that.
Yeah, we thought it'd be great to add a third voice to the show, someone who actually, first of all, listens to the show and kind of gets the way that we communicate and what we like to talk about. But also, with Derek and my crazy schedules, it'd be good to be able to continue the consistency of the show with a third person in case one person can't make it. Two people can still carry on. So that's the reasoning behind it. And no, he's not a father, but he carries so much wisdom. He's like a father.
He has zero wisdom. You don't have to lie.
We
were desperate, and he was all we had.
He's like a Final Fantasy father. Maybe that should be the new name of the show.
Daniel, if you want the real answer, we were desperate, and you're all we got.
Sure. Well, I think what you did was you did some sort of survey poll on YouTube, and I was the only one that answered back.
Yeah,
because I'm the only one that listens to you.
And
we were also in desperate need of a minority.
That's true. That's true.
Clearly, Tim and I are definitely white.
You're very white. I mean, I'm also very white, but I'm like foreign, but very white.
Yeah.
It's a weird hybrid. So
I know.
Yeah.
They're like a Ronaldo who likes metal music. It's weird.
Well, that is about as good of an intro as I could have hoped for. Before
you got here, and it still said live, so I think we probably got banned from Google Hangouts because I proceeded to call him a 3-letter word that talks about it. I guess you could best describe it without being explicit. Rainbows.
Well, you used the 6-letter word version, dumbass.
Oh, I did? It doesn't matter.
You're so old. Your memory is terrible. Good thing you have a young person to remember everything.
YouTube's going to ban us just for your horrible mental abilities. Yeah. All right. We need to dive in. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. But by the way, for right now, we are, of course, still Fathers of the Grind. Things are going to keep rolling. Who knows what will happen in the future? I'm just really excited to have Daniel jump on the show. It's going to be exciting to get back to hopefully a weekly recording, especially as we get closer and closer to the fall when releases start coming out like crazy. And as Derek plays fewer and fewer video games, I need someone who's playing video games to talk to.
Sure.
Derek can still be here for, number one, to make sure that there's PG-13 nudity in the background.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Number two, Daniel can control himself a little more, and Derek's the one who swears a lot. So I need someone to help me practicing my editing skills.
I swear way more than Derek.
I know.
It's so hard for me to control myself. You don't even know. It's so hard. That's what she said.
I was going to say that's what she said.
But
so hard.
I did want to actually be serious for just 2 seconds and say thank you for actually asking me to join you guys. So
yeah, man.
Thank you. I'll do my best.
I speak for only myself when I say.
I do not speak for me.
I speak for only myself when I say I like Daniel a lot. I've always appreciated talking video games with him, whether it's in our group or on the podcast. So I'm pumped to chat with you more regularly about gaming stuff.
Yes.
I don't know what Derek's thinking right now, but when do I ever know what Derek's thinking? I don't.
I mean, I'm pretty simplistic. I mean, either thinking about how good looking I am or how much I hate something. So those are your options.
Hassan. I mean,
you
know,
Both.
Yeah,
both.
No, you.
No, I actually brought it up to Tim last week. So Daniel fits in with us. Daniel and I are like two children. Tim's like the responsible father trying to separate us. Like, can you guys please stop fighting, please? guys, please. We gotta do this shit. Shut up.
Guys, I've got notes we got to get through.
No, it'll be good. I think it'll be good. And like Tim said, yeah, our schedules are getting busier and busier, and I think this will help. Like, if we can't get all three of us together, if we can at least get two of us weekly, that would be really good.
Yeah.
And Daniel, be prepared, because once like Frank Clark finds out you're joining, the hate and bashing will commence.
He does exude a lot of hatred. He's an angry man.
Unless you talk to him in person, then he's the
nicest guy ever.
He's the kindest.
How can I help you?
Dude.
How can I help you with Destiny 2? How can I hold your hand and make sure you're okay?
So he's full of garbage. He's just a fake. He's a fake person.
He's super kind when you talk to him live. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I think in person he's probably nice, but I think he's blunt. So I think online it just comes across as harsher than it really is, but he's probably still blunt in person.
I think this all sounds like a facade, and I think he's the worst human being to ever walk the face of the earth.
Sounds good. Sounds like you can handle him when he tells you you're trash.
We're about to find out if he still listens.
Yeah, I'm used to that. It's fine.
All right. So let's jump into stuff we've been playing. We'll start with our newest team member here. Daniel, what's some stuff you've been playing recently?
All right, team. So more recently, obviously, Mario Maker 2. Which, Tim, thank you for playing some of my stages finally.
Yeah, man.
I won't when I get the game. I'm not going to play.
I thought you already did.
No, I ordered it.
Oh, okay.
Shipping. And when I get it, I'm not going to play your stages intentionally because I hate you.
I didn't want to put in each code for each level, so I just put in your the maker code.
Yep.
And then it allowed me just to cycle through all, which was really cool. You can just look through all the stuff you've made and see which ones have gotten played the most. I just went from your oldest up to I don't think I've played them all yet, but I played like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
It's just fun to see the way other people create. You've made some much tougher ones than I did. I guess I make them with 8-year-olds in mind.
Sure.
So,
sure.
Yeah.
It's weird because, well, not weird. It's actually it's cool because like you're making the stage and it's just so quick how you can snap back and forth between making and testing it. And it's unique because you're kind of testing that one section. Like the way that I do it, as I'm doing it in sections, I kind of think of an idea and I do something and then I create that one section. Yeah. So I test that one section, but then sometimes I forget, like, oh, maybe I should go all the way back and see if it kind of like flows all the way through. Yeah. So I try to remember to do that. I do forget, but then before I obviously have uploaded them, I do that. So, but yeah, it's just super cool.
Yeah.
You've
got some good ideas in there. I like playing stuff that other people have made because there's some good ideas and stuff I haven't thought about. I actually highly recommend for anyone who has it, and Derek, when you get it, if you're interested in making levels but aren't really sure where to start, they have a good tutorial, number one, which is fine. But the story mode essentially is your tutorial, and it's not necessarily, the story mode isn't showing you, here, now go place this block here. It's just having you run through levels. It's basically a Mario game where you're just doing level after level after level, but it's got a real cool mixture of stuff, and it immediately gives you ideas of, holy crap, I could totally do that, because everything they've got in the story mode, every level you play, was built essentially with the tools that are available to you. And so there are some really, really creative ones. I just finished the story mode, which is a lot of fun. There's over 100. I think there's just over 100 levels. I think I finished 70 or 80 or so. So I'll keep going through them because Nintendo made them. So they're really good. But some of the ideas in there are just brilliant, and it makes me want to incorporate a few of the ideas and then put my own spin on it. But I just did one that was called Winter, Spring, or Spring, Winter, then Spring again. And the idea is, so when you make a level, you can create a pipe that takes you to a sub area. And then you don't necessarily go to sub area 3, then sub area 4. You can just jump back and forth between 1 and 2. So you could have 2 different themes going on in one level. And so this winter and spring, one of them is a complete snow and ice level. And then when you go through this blue pipe, you come out a green pipe, and it's the same exact level, but now it's spring. So the enemies are different. The settings a little different. And you can now access coins or platforms you couldn't before. It's just those little brilliant ideas that are like, whoa, you could make it, you could almost do like a post-apocalyptic world versus, like in the future versus present or whatever. There's lots of different things you could do, like past and present or whatever. Yeah. So I've thought, man, there's some cool ideas you can incorporate with just playing through story mode. So I highly recommend story mode. It's a lot of fun. Again, it's not really a story. It's more just play Nintendo levels, and we'll give you a reason to play through it. That's really all it is.
Yeah,
but
I've definitely gotten a couple of ideas from that. But yeah, I do like having the sub level. I wish you could have more than just 2. Yeah. Just because then you can make something super complex. But yeah, I'm in the process right now of doing one of the kind of the Haunted Mansion ones where
those are crazy.
Yeah, which those usually are very puzzle-esque. Yeah. So right now I'm kind of in the middle of trying to do that, and I'd say it's the hardest one I've made so far because like I'm almost getting a little confused. I'm trying to like have pipes go to certain areas and vice versa and all sorts of things. So you're trying to use? Can you do just 2 sub levels there too, and you just have to space it out in a smart way? Yeah, like I'm trying to incorporate. So you know those little red coins that you can collect, and then you get like a key. Yeah. So I'm trying to kind of do that, combining with pipes that go to different sections between each level. So nice. Yeah, nice. I'm trying to do that. The keyword is trying. So are you using a controller on the big screen, or are you using touchpad? I've actually been mostly using the Joy-Cons. Actually, they actually work pretty well. That was my main gripe of them making a sequel on the Switch, because as much as the Wii U was kind of a whatever system, like the pad with the being able to see it on the TV was like the perfect setup for that game, because I could look down and draw and then immediately test it on the TV. Well, and you can't do that on the Switch, but it still works really well in general. So I just bought a Amazon pen, so it can be used on a tablet or iPhone or whatever else. It's got like I wish I had one nearby. I could show you. So it's not a stylus, but it's one of those pens that has like the little bubble on the end. Yeah, it's like a rubbery material. Yep. Yep, and I got one that's got replaceable tips on it, so you can have kind of the thicker one or the real fine one. Looks like a ballpoint pen at the very end. But anyway, and so I've used that on the Switch in handheld mode, and it's great. I can sit there and use a pen essentially to map out my levels and tap on stuff real fast without getting my like the grease from your fingers on there. So anyway, love it. I'm really enjoying that game. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those ones that even though I ran through story mode and I'm finished with that, it's one that I don't plan on uninstalling or stop playing anytime soon. It's going to be one of those regular rotation games for me. But I am also playing. I was just traveling. So being on the airplane and being away from my TV, I of course got a lot of Switch time in. So I finally started playing some stuff that I had bought on sale. I'll just mention one here, then we'll go back to Daniel and then Derek, stuff you guys are playing too. But I'm playing Cosmic Star Heroine, which is No, I was saying, I remember Colin Moriarty a while back mentioning how great that was. I never played it, but shout out to Colin. Colin, yes. Anyway, so Cosmic Star Heroine is 100% I think it's kind of a love letter to Chrono Trigger and that style of game. It's turn-based battles. It's a turn-based RPG. You build a pretty big roster of playable characters that you can very quickly swap between, and they all have different move sets. It looks very much like a Super Nintendo Chrono Trigger type of a game. It's got an interesting kind of sci-fi story. It's in the future, and you're part of this big organization, and of course things go bad, and you realize your organization's actually evil, and so now you're going to build this team of and you're going to join this underground rebellion to now rise up against the big evil corporation. So it very much feels like a 90s storyline and characters, and the writing's pretty good. It's pretty funny. So I really like it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I've heard it's a pretty decently long game. I think I'm on hour 9 or so, and I level 25, and I don't think I'm that super far into it. I think I've got a long way to go. So pretty solid game. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. A pretty solid game. And I think it was only for like $10 when I got it. I'm not sure how much it is right now. It's a solid deal. It is a good game if you are a fan of the old Super Nintendo RPGs. All right, so Daniel, what else are you playing besides the Mario Makers? So I've been bouncing between like I've been replaying Final Fantasy 9, so I've been bouncing between that and then just like other things. Like Mortal Kombat 11, obviously. Ooh. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan, so I'm not a bigger Mortal Kombat fan. I'm sure you are. You're bigger at something. So Derek was a big Mortal Kombat evangelist when it came out. Are you in that same boat, and especially when it comes to the story mode, single player mode? Yeah, I would say fighting game wise, I've always probably liked Mortal Kombat the most. I've always wanted to like Street Fighter a lot, and Street Fighter 5 I think was the one that I kind of got the best at. But yeah, Mortal Kombat, like since I was like a kid, definitely I've always just really liked the series. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this new one. I'm not a fan of who they've announced for the DLC characters though. Shang Tsung just came out, which is like whatever. And then Nightwolf, Sindel, and Spawn. Spawn might be cool just because that's new and you know, the only thing he's been in fighting game wise was it Soul Calibur 2?
Yeah.
Like the Xbox version.
Yeah.
So,
back when GameCube got Link, right? I think.
Yeah. And then what's his face from Tekken for the PS2 version. But,
that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, so that might be cool just because then it's like he's in Mortal Kombat, so they can actually kind of like the Spawn series. I think is known for its violence, so I think it's more fitting in the Mortal Kombat world. But yeah, the other 3 characters, I'm like, whatever. Those seem kind of.
I like Nightwolf. Sindel, I kind of understood why they brought her in story wise, but Shang Tsung I've never cared about.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the general vibe from all Mortal Kombat fans. The Shang Tsung.
He seems like he's cool to use. Like I've seen people use him pretty expertly, but like I just aesthetic for me, like with the characters aesthetically, I don't.
I'm
care
speaking more aesthetically than
yeah,
whether I like to use them because I've never cared about Katana ever, and then I started using her in Mortal Kombat 11. I'm like, dude, she's super fun. Now I see why people are like, I love Katana. I'm like,
yeah,
right.
I've always been a Sub-Zero, like huge Sub-Zero fan, but actually with this one, I was actually yeah, well. That's pretty fitting for our relationship, isn't it?
Well, I always liked Sub-Zero when I was younger, but then again, when I play the game, I'm like, Scorpion's the better character, so I just kept using Scorpion.
I mean, you're wrong, but that's fine, as you are with everything else in life. But
shut up.
Jade, I actually took a liking to Jade when I first got the game. I like her moves with her baton. They just look pretty sick, so yeah. She can twirl my baton any day.
Okay. Derek had a smirk on his face, like, "Yeah, you do."
Yeah, you do. I mean, I do lust over Jade every time I play with her.
But a lot of people have been crying for Melina to come back. So I don't know.
Yeah, which I don't understand because again, like, Katana and Melina are the same. So.
My wife, that was her favorite character on 10, so she's pretty upset that. You know, Melina's not in there. So for her, it's like, all right, let her have Melina, but otherwise, I don't care about Melina. So,
like, I never talk about Mortal Kombat 11 on the show anymore, but I still log into it at least 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah, and I just do like the daily like challenges or whatever to get currency. Yeah, and then I'll unlock new fatalities and stuff because old school Derek would have already had all the fatalities unlocked, beat the game with all the characters. I played a lot. Like I put in like 12 hours, which is a lot for that game to me. But I'm not as obsessed with fighters as I was when I was a kid. So I still log in. I still play the game. It's not like I played it, beat the story, and then I was done with it. So out of all the fighters, it's no doubt Mortal Kombat is above everybody else. In fact, right now it's probably sitting in the top 5. It's not going to be the game of the year, but it's just a quality game. It's really good. The fatalities are ridiculously good. And to me, here's the thing. Some people could be like, who cares about fatalities? Or, of course, they're good. But in the modern gaming that we have now, blood and gore is not – like we're all desensitized to it. Like every one of us have seen heads get chopped off and – limbs blown off and all that stuff. So for them to be able to come up with new ways to kill people in an exciting way and gruesome way is, hats off to them because it's not boring. They do it in these rare, unique ways and they do it so well. And I don't know. It's just, I'm shocked that they could do it.
That'd actually be an interesting conversation. Like which violent moments in video games shocked you the most? That'd be an interesting one. Because
Mortal Kombat 11 has a couple that I'm like, oh my god, that was gross. Like I actually get grossed out by it. And again, I've seen everything, but they just do like crazy stuff.
Maybe I'm twisted because I actually just laugh at every single one.
Well,
it's got a cartooniness to it.
Yeah,
there's some pretty morose ones, and I'm still laughing. So I'm obviously messing the head.
I just did one with Katana yesterday, I did it like 3 times and watched it, and I'll just describe it. She basically takes her weapon and puts it in your chest and slides it down so you're now open. And then she starts spinning, and as she's spinning, your insides are coming out.
Yep.
And your insides are going around her spinning, and then she explodes like the blood and gore everywhere.
She creates like
while you're watching the insides come out, and I was doing this with Liu Kang, and Liu Kang's just sitting there like, I was like, this is so gross, but I loved it.
Shao Kahn has some pretty messed up ones. I think he takes his hammer, he bashes you in the head, your head goes like inside your chest, and then I think he
hits it out of your
is it your stomach or your behind? I forget. It comes out somewhere.
But it might come out here.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, it's gross, and there's the sound effects are nasty, but it's also got that cartoonish vibe to it as well.
Yeah, because you know it's not real.
He bonks your head down into your body. Like, how many old cartoons have you seen that in? Just minus all the blood.
Sure, yeah.
But
anyways, I'm Quality Fighter, and I still think, Tim, even though I know you don't like fighting games, I really think you should just go through the story mode.
Right.
Because it takes like 4 hours, but it's quality. Like the cutscenes are good. It's just a fun experience.
I think between Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and this one, I think, Tim, you would have the easiest getting into this one. I think the setup of like how you do moves is the most intuitive out of the 3.
Oh my god!
Yeah, see, you mentioned Street Fighter. Street Fighter was our game. We were Street Fighter fans.
Yeah.
And my motivation for playing fighters back in the day was I knew that whether it was with my brother some evening or with friends that weekend, whatever it was going to be, I was going to be facing off again with folks. And so anytime I played during the week was just sharpening up, getting ready for those couch, not even co-op, but the couch versus moments. And so, but now I don't really have that same motivation, like to get online and just get destroyed by someone who I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I never play online. I never play.
Yeah, that's not that appealing. And so playing against a computer has less of a appeal for me because I'm like, well, I'm not really getting ready for anything. So anyway,
well, I've told Derek to buy it for PS4 so I can whoop his behind, and he's scared. Obviously,
first of all, it's the lesser of all my systems.
You're scared. Well, I mean, it's not, but
it is. The Xbox One X runs it better, and my PC runs it better.
My Switch runs it better. Okay,
your Switch doesn't run jack crap good.
Listen, your old eyes can't actually differentiate 4K and 1080, all right? So I don't want to...
Thanks, Frank Clark. You can only see in 720p. Shut up. If you're going to sit here and try to tell me that 720p looks the exact same as 4K,
listen, I wouldn't even give you 720. You see life in 480, my friend, all right? you got old eyes.
All right, Derek, what's something that you've been playing?
I don't have the list in front of me. So I jumped back into the Division 2. I played a good amount when it came out, not a ton, but I eventually got to like a level 11. Now I'm 16. I'm kind of playing it mainly solo. I did play with Rob and my brother Friday night for a couple hours. That was fun. But I've been basically running a lot of side missions solo, and then when I'm doing a main mission, I'll just call on randoms. And that's what's cool about that game is it's kind of like Destiny 2. You can call on randoms, and it's not an issue. Like, sure, I'm sure you have a chance of getting trash players every once in a while, but you have to be really, really, really bad at video games to not succeed in the Division 2 and Destiny 2 on like main story missions.
Yeah, at least for the main missions, right?
So so it's just fun having somebody there because you do die. Like I die and other people have died. So it's a lot more fun with co-op because you always have that chance of somebody reviving you. Whereas when I'm playing solo and I die, I'm like, okay, this is annoying because now I got to start this all over. Now, granted, that means I need to be more careful in what I'm doing, but still, it gets a little more annoying. So I do enjoy it with others more, but I do have to say the Division 2 is still keeping its hooks in me because I know I talked about it.
It is a really
I talked about it on
game.
last week's show a little bit. So obviously, it means it's doing something right if I played it for a week. You know?
I really like that game a lot. I had a lot of fun with it. I loved it.
I would like to beat the story. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to get to, I think it's level 30, you beat it or whatever. I'd like to at least get to that and then maybe check out the end game and then probably be done with it. Kind of like I did with Anthem. I beat Anthem. I checked out the end game for probably literally 30 seconds, and then I was like, I don't understand it, and I don't care, and I never went back to Anthem. And then the other one is Destiny 2, and I just jumped back in that this weekend. I've been wanting to unlock Dreaming City, I believe it's called, and I hadn't done that because, it takes effort, and I was like, I don't want to try. And now I finally figured out what I needed to do, and I unlocked it, and I got to say, it's pretty freaking cool. Like, the whole scenery, it's definitely worth unlocking.
Okay.
It unlocks a new strike, too, which was definitely a difficult strike, but I'm enjoying it. Now that I've unlocked that, and I bought this, it's not the season pass, but no, it's an annual pass. I bought the annual pass both on PlayStation and Xbox when it was on sale. So it was like $12 or whatever, 12 or $13. So I went ahead and continued my playthrough on Xbox because I was further along, and it's the superior console. And so I was glad to finally unlock the new area. But it's just fun. I always have fun with that game as long as I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If I don't know what I'm doing, I'm like, okay, this is getting stupid. And I gotta say, the game can definitely be overwhelming because, like, I went into my pursuits or whatever, which I guess is like mission type things or things you can do and unlock and stuff. And I had like 50 of them. Like, I have no idea what any of this crap.
Well, aren't those basically like kill 50 of these and
a lot of them are, but some of them are actually like story stuff. Like to unlock Dreaming City, one of those things was the pursuit, and I didn't know where to find it, and so I had to go online and be like, all right, how do I unlock Dreaming City? And so they gave me a step by step, and then I was like, oh, it's in the pursuits. Now I see it, but I didn't know at the time because I hadn't played in, I think, probably since September or October of last year. I pretty much stayed off Destiny 2.
Gotcha.
So once I beat the expansion, what was the expansion? I forgot what it was called.
I already forget.
Forsaken. So once I beat Forsaken, I kind of walked away from it.
Yeah.
I played it a lot when I beat Forsaken.
Here's something weird about the Destiny 2 stuff. Because I played that game all the way through start to finish, mostly solo for the story stuff, because I'm that annoying guy who wants to see the cutscenes and see what's happening in the story. I know that's annoying, but
yeah, bro, naughty.
It is what it is. So I really enjoyed it and thought, wow, this Destiny lore is actually really interesting. What they did here with the story is really cool. The characters are kind of fun. Like, I actually enjoyed it. And then when I did the Forsaken DLC with other folks who just, like, for the most part, we're on the mic, we're talking, we're flying through it. They're just telling us what to do real quick. I'm missing all the dialogue. We're skipping all. And I was like, I have no idea what that was. It just felt like we ran from room to room and killed a bunch of mobs. Some of them had new looking attacks or designs to them, and that was it. So I really didn't enjoy this. So maybe this is just me getting grumpy. I don't know. But I really did not enjoy co-oping that because the experience was much more social, almost like we were playing a multiplayer game that we've all played before already. And I just didn't really get to feel engrossed in the world or the story at all. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but I had trouble enjoying it. That's why I loved the way Division 2 did it. There were many, many main storylines that you have to play with others. You just have to match make. Otherwise, it gets really tough. And it's just more fun to have some allies there with you fighting. You don't have to talk to anybody. I just left my mic off the whole time. Didn't talk to anybody. Just jumped in, played a mission, and I still got to hear all the story that I wanted to hear. I could hear all the dialogue. I knew what was going on. So I prefer that. Destiny 2, I struggle with really any game that allows people to chat throughout the multiplayer experience. I had some trouble with, but
yeah, that doesn't seem like the best approach. Like, I get that it could be probably tricky, which is why they try to find that sweet spot. But like, if it's going to show a cutscene, it should be, hey, everyone's listening and watching the cutscene, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. I remember in Star Wars: The Old Republic, that MMO, you got to essentially vote if you want to skip, and it would tell you like each person who wants to skip. So there was that kind of thing. But anyway, I love the look and feel and gameplay of Destiny 2, but I found that I really didn't enjoy it as much, weirdly enough, when I was playing with others. And I know that sounds awful, but it is what it is. That's just how I enjoy it. That's why Division 2, I thought, was a nice balance of playing with others and playing solo. And I still felt like it was its own game. And it had some cool moments in it, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've expressed my Destiny opinions, I think, with you guys before here. For me, I'm like, I think this game needs to like be different as far as like how they like the first person aspect. Like, I think that game would work better being a third person like open world adventure game.
Yeah, but it works so well as FPS though. Like,
it plays well. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I guess I just don't like the structure of it. I don't like the zones. And then it's just like then you leave the zone and it loads into the town that's very small. Like, I don't know. I just wish it was more open.
It's not open world, really. It's open area.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it would be better if it like for me personally third person, but then never mind that like just the lack of openness, you know.
Well, if you want a good third person online co-op game, there's a game called Anthem out that you could go give a try.
Yes.
Or the Division.
I hear Derek is a fan.
Or the Division, which Division is open world. So
I don't hate Anthem. I just think I was so hyped for it. I think it's
Anthem wears on you quickly. Anthem gets to a point where you're like, wow, this is really cool. And then there's a really steep drop off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the world. I like the aesthetics of everything. Like I like the combat in the beginning. The problem was the enemies were, and I don't normally complain about this, but the enemies were so boring. Like you never
really
felt
were
like,
repetitive.
Hey, like, hey, the enemies you're facing here in the beginning, they're gonna go away, and then we're gonna have some super badass like bosses and beasts come at you. Like, no, it was like pretty much the same.
Yep.
And so the gameplay got repetitive because you never really changed. Yeah, they got more difficult to beat, but you got more powerful. So it was like you're moving up, they're moving up, but it's the same thing happening over and over.
Yep.
Plus, I found the flying to be fun, but then I did definitely hate the fact that you like overheated every 5 seconds.
Yeah,
so,
the overheating, and I know you can upgrade eventually. Like over time, you can upgrade and improve that, but
that to me is a pointless upgrade. Like, make the focus on your superpowers and your shooting and the guns and all that stuff. Let the flying just be something that's part of the game that you don't have to worry about. Like, oh, he overheated again. Like,
yeah.
And again, if you want to put that mechanic in, don't make it as frequent as it is. I spent most of my time just trying to fly near water so I could fly the whole time, and or I would fly high in the sky and then drop, because when you drop, you're cooling.
Yeah.
And I just spent my time focusing on that instead of just playing the game and flying from one location to the next. But I think the world's great. I think the aesthetics is good. I think the gunplay is pretty weak. I think the guns are uninteresting. I also think the enemies are very uninteresting.
Classes are pretty cool. The different classes and the different abilities.
Yes, and I thought the story was actually pretty good. I know a lot of people crapped on it, but I thought the story. There was one twist I liked that they kind of screwed up later in the game. Like, they could have made it cool, but they kind of like why did you do that to that character if he ended up not? You have to play the game to know what I'm talking about. But they didn't do it perfectly. But I thought for that style of game, it was up there with like Destiny 2 and stuff. I thought the story was interesting and it was good enough.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I kind of feel like if Ubisoft made Anthem, that it would have turned out better.
Ooh, shots fired. They made Division 2, and that's pretty good.
Ubisoft's good at making that kind of game. Assassin's Creed, Division. You know,
they've taken their lumps, but they've gotten much better at it.
Yeah,
they've gotten much better at it
for sure.
What else? Like EA's just stubborn. That's what I'm not an EA hater. We've talked about this before.
Do you know that guy that what was it? He was doing an interview and he's like, he was literally sounding like some sort of bullied kid. Be like, oh, everybody doesn't like us right now. It was like an actual like serious interview, and he was kind of like whining. Like he couldn't believe that like people right now don't like EA. Like, oh, they think we're the bad guy. It's like, are you freaking kidding, guy? Like, how do you not see why people don't like you guys?
Did you want them to make fun of you more? Was that your goal? Okay.
So that was pretty funny.
Daniel, anything else outside of Final Fantasy IX that you're also playing right now?
It doesn't matter.
I finished Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. Did you like the ending that you got?
Yeah. Well, so there was a casualty. There was one casualty.
Yeah.
Which was a bummer. My wife was very upset.
Yeah, same here. I had one casualty, but I actually was okay with it. I was like, this is just the way my choices went.
Yeah.
It's the way it played out.
I mean, I was bummed, but it overall, like, I wish I played that game more steadily, because it definitely was an amazing game for sure.
Yes. Visually, really, really impressive too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it's a very good game. Absolutely.
I think it's the best from that developer, who I'm blanking out on the name of that developer.
Quantic Dream.
Thank you.
I think it's the best. Like objectively, I just think Heavy Rain was. I liked Heavy Rain more just because I like the mystery.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't like how the story played out at the end, which I've talked about before, so I'm not going to repeat it. But I think everything else, like the voice acting, graphics, which obviously PS4 compared to PS3, although they just released Heavy Rain on PC and I have it. I bought it for $10 through.
How's it look?
Haven't even booted it up. That's why I was.
I don't know why. I assumed that you had. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay.
No, I just buy games. And I'm like, hey.
He just stares at the menus and he's like, whatever.
I actually
I'm becoming more like Derek of old in that sometimes I go on there if there's a sale, I just start buying stuff. I start buying all these games. But here's where I'm not like Derek is not only are they not AAA games, but I actually play them. So it's both. It's both of those things. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm super excited to buy stupid crap.
So I bought, and this one will ring a bell for Derek because I talked about it way too much during Game of the Year 2 years ago. I bought the follow-up, the Japanese Advance Wars game called Tiny Metal, and it's called Tiny Metal Full Metal Rumble. If you like Advance Wars, and I said this for the first one, you 100% need to get this game. It is the same thing. You get tanks, you get recon units, you have soldiers with guns, soldiers with bazookas. I mean, it's 100% a ripoff. They're not even trying to pretend it's not. It's got a really kind of charming / silly anime story to it. It's very Japanese. Like even
I'll only buy it if it's running at 480p at 20 frames per second.
You're in luck. You're in luck. It is. But it's really fun. I played like 5 or 6 missions so far. I played it while I was visiting family out in Pennsylvania and really like it a lot. I think they made a lot of improvements. It's a lot more complex because you have to worry about things like fuel and ammo, whereas I think Advanced Wars, you might have to worry about ammo for some units, but not for all. So this one's a little more complex, but I highly recommend it. It's on sale right now, or at least it was recently. Since it just released, it was on sale for, I think, $13. So it's not too expensive.
So these guys have released 2 of these games, and Nintendo has released how many Advance Wars?
0 since the DS days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. What are you doing?
Yep.
It's a great series.
They're letting other people do it. So between this and Wargroove, you've got some great Advance Wars type strategy games out there on the Switch, and I think this is also on other consoles as well. But Switch is my preference.
I want to add that I hate your beard. That's fair. I just wanted you to know that.
That's fair.
I thought it was important we do it right now.
By the way, when you changed your profile picture to the 311 across the bottom,
I know you told me.
That is as dude bro as you've been in a long time, by the way.
Where's he backwards?
I'm trying to get like.
I like 311, bro.
I'm trying to get Colin Moriarty.
Fair enough. But that's covered the bottom half of your face, and on the little tiny thumbnail of your profile image, I thought, does Derek have no beard? Okay, never mind.
I know. I have to admit, it was I just wanted 311 on my profile. I was super excited for the new album, and that was the only one that wasn't like 311 day or 311 something else. So it was the only one that just said 311. But I'm like, it's right on my face. Like I don't want to block my face because I don't have to say it. Come on, guys.
Obviously.
Come on. Yeah. But I made sacrifices.
That's fine. I'll keep the big beard. You keep your D-bag band stuff going. It's fine. You do both.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. You gotta like 311.
Hey, bro, do you want to go play some hacky sack, bro? You want to go play some?
I'm going skating later. Going to the skate park later.
Right,
Eli, we're going to the skate park, bro.
I also took one for the team, and I downloaded this game Mulaka that's been out for a long time. It's down to 10. It's down to $10. So it's this Native American themed game. It's a 3D action adventure game.
That's racist.
It's a 3D action adventure game.
That's why Tim bought it. He's like, I'm just trying to not be.
Just trying to do my part. Hey, listen, Elizabeth Warren told me to buy it, so I did.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
And so I bought it.
Did she tell you to play Mortal Kombat because of Nightwolf?
Let me save you all. Let me save you all the time.
She's actually related to that.
And money. Oh, and Thunderhawk from Street Fighter, right?
Yeah, totally. They're all related. There's only one Native American family.
I'll save you time and money. Don't waste your time with Mulaka. It's okay if you are really, really interested in the videos you've seen. Okay, I guess go grab it, but it doesn't quite control right. The combat's not quite what you want it to be. It's just not quite there. So, and it's a 3D action adventure, a little bit of RPG mechanics here and there, but it's not that great. So I don't recommend that one. But I do recommend, if you like side-scrolling games, this one kind of looks like the PlayStation 1 Mega Man games a little bit, kind of that clean cartoon, crisp look to it. That's Double Cross, which is out on all platforms. Really like this one. You got a grapple hook mechanic. There's another mechanic where it comes to talking to characters and solving mysteries. You have to collect clues and then go and accuse the right person. It's a little bit on the nose. It's a little bit easy, but the platforming part and the combat part, I think, is pretty fun. So Double Cross is out on all platforms. You can probably get it pretty cheap.
Cool.
Double no.
We'll need
Double
we need
no.
more Mega Man in our lives. Capcom needs we do. We absolutely
do need more Mega Man. Well, speaking of the Switch, and since I was just traveling, this news came while I was actually on the road. So this was interesting. Nintendo announced officially via kind of a really early morning, I guess it was like a direct, because they had a guy come out and snap his fingers and do the whole thing. Yoshi, whatever his name is. Isn't his name Yoshi? I don't know.
The green creature? Sure, yeah, Yoshi.
No, I thought the guy's name was Yoshi something.
Yeah, the one that Mario rides on.
Yoshi.
Yeah.
All right, shut up. All right, so Nintendo announced this Nintendo Switch Lite. And I guess my big question to you guys, I don't know if you know much about it. I'll give you the rundown. My question for you is going to be, is this a good or bad move by Nintendo? So here's the rundown. It's going to be $200, so it's $100 cheaper than the full-size Switch. The Joy-Cons are no longer removable, so you cannot replace those or swap them out. It's more connected like a Vita would be. No TV connectivity at all. Smaller screen. It's about I think it's about an inch smaller in the diagonal measurement. Battery life is supposed to be up about 20 to 30%, which translates to about 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. And now it has a traditional D-pad instead of the kind of directional buttons that are on the current Joy-Cons. That also means they had to remove a bunch of the tech from the Joy-Cons, so there's no more of the rumble, the special rumble that they introduced, or that IR tech. All that stuff's removed since you can't disconnect it from the system anymore. No more kickstand, because why would you need it? You're just playing as a handheld. The idea here is, hey, handheld gamers, this is for you. So what do you guys think? Good or bad move by Nintendo? Does this make sense to you?
Well, I don't understand why anybody, and I haven't seen anybody, but when I've seen people ask, like, is this a good move? I'm like, why would you ask if this is a good move? It's 100% a good move. Like, there's no way this would ever be a bad move.
So
because
why do you think it's going to be such a good move for Nintendo?
It's never a bad move. It would only be a bad move if they were releasing another version of the Switch that was more expensive and only like a tiny upgrade. The fact that this is $100 cheaper automatically makes it a good move. And then the upgrades and then the downgrades to it, and I say downgrades meaning you can't, like, put it on a regular TV or whatever. They kind of even themselves out. So, like, for instance, a lot of people are like, this is clearly a move for kids. Well, most of Nintendo is for kids. But I saw it and I was like, I want one. And the reason I want
pretty
one,
cool looking little system.
I don't really. Here's my issue, and this is my own personal thing, so I'm not speaking for everybody else, obviously. I have two Switches. They're constantly messed up. Like, I had my daughter destroy, like, she messed up one of the screens, even with the protector on. So it's not scratched or anything, but when you turn it on and it's black screen, you can see, like, these colors where, like, clearly she banged the screen or something. I'm like, thanks a lot, you freaking frustrating daughter. I've also had 4 Joy-Cons get screwed up from Fortnite. So it's become expensive and very annoying. So what I basically want to do is just get rid of my 2 that I have, like, give them to the kids, let them finish trashing it, never rebuy them again for them. So if they screw it up, they screw it up. And then just buy me one of these $200 ones that is just mine. Nobody's allowed to touch it. I like that the Joy-Cons can't come off, so I don't have to worry about them getting lost. I also prefer just to have like a handheld. I think it would be good for me. I think I would play it more, because another issue I have, again, this is personal, is I don't have any room for my Switch. Even I have to set it up on its own TV, which I don't like doing. Like, I don't have room for it where my Xbox and PS4 are. And I don't
in
think
terms
it
of like
looks,
HDMI input.
yeah, and I
Oh,
don't
okay.
think it looks good on big screens anyways. The one that it looks best on is the one I have it hooked up to now, and that's my little 1080p monitor, and it's crystal clear.
Oh,
Like
nice.
I just booted up Zelda, and it's like crisp. Like it doesn't. You don't see any
I think
zigs.
some games
and
look good on the
zags.
big screen. I think most of the time you're right. Most of the time the games look much better in handheld mode or on a smaller screen. But some games, and they're specifically the higher caliber games that come right from Nintendo or a close partner of Nintendo, they're the ones that look good on the big screen still. Like we were just playing Mario Maker 2 on the big screen. I think every mode of Mario Maker 2 looks great on the big screen. Looks really nice. Mario plus Rabbids looks great. Zelda and Mario Odyssey, those all look really great. Mario Kart, amazing. But then you get to some of these other games, they just don't quite translate as well to the big screen. So I totally get it from that perspective. And I'm actually with you, Derek. I feel like I might want to get, since I play mine almost exclusively in handheld mode, I have found most of my Switch time is when there's something else going on the TV. Maybe my wife wants to watch a show together, but she's going to be on her phone, and I'll grab the Switch and play handheld mode. Or maybe I'm in bed. I want to play a little bit before I fall asleep. Or the kids are all occupying all the other screens, so I can play in handheld mode. I play the Switch probably 90 to 95% handheld. That's mostly how I play that system. So for me personally, I see this and I say, wow, that would be totally worth me getting one of those. Also, if you've got Nintendo Switch Online, which, by the way, if you have Amazon Prime, you have a free year of online. You just have to track down how to redeem it. But anyway, if you've got Nintendo Switch Online, then you do have cloud saves. So you could just log into your two different Switches and access all your downloads and saves from there. So that is possible now, although at launch of the Switch it wasn't. It is a thing now if you've got Nintendo Switch Online. You could technically have a home Switch that stays in its dock, and like Derek said, it doesn't get beat up all the time. It just stays right there. That's your screen, and then you can take the portable one with you and then just log in there if you wanted to do it that way. So I hear you. I think it's a pretty good move, but I do have some questions about it. Before I talk about those, though, Daniel, what do you think about this Switch Lite?
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's a cheaper system that has more battery, and these kids, they like to play portably. You know, no, they don't want to slap that thing on the TV because graphics and whatever. But the only thing, and it's kind of just like a nerdy nitpicky thing, is like technically it shouldn't be called the Switch then.
Right.
Because the Switch is called the Switch because you can switch between playing it on a TV or in handheld. So this doesn't do that. Therefore, that doesn't make any sense. But also, they can't give it a whole new name because of marketing confusion and blah, blah, blah. So,
you know what?
And I think that's why they call it Switch Lite. Like it's a lighter version of the Switch.
Right.
Yeah. It just doesn't do what the actual name of what it is.
Yeah. I get branding-wise why it's still called that, but you're right. It no longer actually functions in the way that the title seems to imply. It reminds me a whole lot of when Nintendo created the 2DS, which was a big question mark for a lot of folks. Like, no longer is it the clamshell thing that shuts, and now it's just in 2D, and it's in this wedge shape, and who is this for? And that thing, of course, sold gangbusters and turned out to be, and still is, a really great bang for your buck. Like, you can buy one of those, and you have access to the full 3DS and old DS libraries right then. And I think it's like $80 brand new with Mario Kart installed or something like that. So I could see this being, I see why Nintendo did this 100%. Here's your cheaper option. Here's a cheaper route. If you want to have multiple Switches in your home, if you need to replace one, now you've got a cheaper option to do it. So I do get it. I think many of us, though, are hoping for, now here's the Switch Plus or something. And we've beefed up the innards of this thing, and it can run things quicker, and it can run at higher frame rates and higher resolution. And, I guess for that to be realistic, knowing Nintendo, that's just going to be the next gen, whatever their next gen thing is.
I think that just divides the audience, because when they did the what was it, the new 3DS, and there was was a
failure for the most part.
There was just a few games that worked on, and then all you're really doing is just segregating your player base. Like, buy this whole new $200 thing so you could play a few just wait till you make the new system,
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, the new 3DS played a handful of exclusive games, and then you could play the Super Nintendo downloadable ones, a couple of them.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. So, yeah, I hear you. So let's step away from Nintendo for a second. It's been a lot of Nintendo talk. Let's talk about the PS4. I didn't know this. I totally did not know this, and I know it's been known since 2016. Okay, it came with an update in 2016. But if you select a hidden trophy on a trophy list for a game on your PS4 menu, and then you hit the square button while you're looking at the details for that trophy, it'll show it to you. That doesn't say that anywhere, does it, on the screen?
It does. No. And when you go into the trophies,
I've never seen it before. Now, to be fair, I don't look at my trophies that close.
Well, fine. That's fine.
But I never knew that. And I know this is kind of blowing up big right now. This is why I bring it up. It's one of those things that Sony added in almost 3 years ago.
Yep.
In one of their updates.
They sure did.
And just recently, people are like, hey, did you know you could do this? And everyone's like, what?
By the way, you're not cool if you knew this.
I'm very cool.
I'm just making sure people know. Like,
I did not know this.
You know, listen, Daniel, you're not cool, guys.
Digital trophies that I have that represent how awesome of a gamer I am. They mean everything.
Well, I know there's some people in our group too who will say things like, guys, not to hurt your feelings or anything, but did you seriously not know this? Oh, there's a little bit of that going on, and I'm like, I'm with Derek on this one.
How about you just comment and say, hey, I knew this.
Yeah,
sure.
That's it. Like, it's cool that you guys are just finding out that I knew about this a few years ago.
Listen, if you've never looked at your trophies, that's one thing. But if you have, it's right there. It just shows the square. No. You press the square.
I rarely look at trophies.
No, so I'll look at my trophy list, but I never stop on it. I never select it and go into the details of it. So I look at the list sometimes to see, hey, I finished this game. I got a lot of trophies. How many more do I have to get? Like I've done that a few times.
Sure, yeah, but I don't look through the details.
But I've never looked through the details and hit reveal on the hidden trophy. I just assumed hidden trophy was too bad. You got to look it up online or find it.
Yeah, so. I mean,
I figured hidden trophy was hidden because they didn't want to spoil it for you.
Story related,
which is obviously what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
I just didn't know they had done anything to be like, oh, but if you don't care.
It's clearly for people who trophy hunt but don't care about spoilers, because then you just look at what the description is, and it might be a good enough description to tell you how to get that trophy. So, you know.
All right, hey, I've got a baby crying. You guys talk real quick about best game so far from 2019. We're going to talk a little bit. Now we're halfway through the year. We're going to talk about game of the year contenders so far in the first half. And so on those notes there, Derek, I put what Metacritic considers their top 10, and then I just threw in a couple other ones that I think are going to get talked about, whether for good or for bad, for game of the year. And tell me what you guys think about those. I'll be right back to join back in.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll start off. I'll take the lead because I'm the alpha male. We'll start off by going to you, Daniel. What right now? And again, you don't have to put it in order. This is just more of like we've written out a lot of the games, or Tim because he's a nerd. Let's put a lot of these games on there. What is your top game right now? Like, what are you feeling on the path to game of the year?
So very tippy top, number one.
I mean, if you want to do like a top 5 or something, I don't want to do top 10 because that would be like slow and take forever.
So looking at the list, it would be between Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
But I am leaning more towards Resident Evil 2 just because Kingdom Hearts 3 was like the conclusion of that whole thing, but yet there's still like more stuff that's going to be going on, and that kind of annoys me. So I want to pick Resident Evil 2 just because that annoys me. I don't like that was supposed to be the conclusion of all of that, Sora's story with all the other games, the 19 other Kingdom Hearts that came out, and then at the end it's like, oh no, wait, there's still some stuff. It's like, all right, you know what? I'm just not gonna deal with that. So I would say Resident Evil 2 for sure. Because they also just did such an amazing job remaking that game. Like for me, Resident Evil 2 remake, I would say actually I would rather play that than the original one. For sure.
I think most people would say that, wouldn't they?
I mean, there's always going to be the people that, are like, oh, the original. But
exactly. He's a huge fan of nostalgia. Even with nostalgia, he would still pick it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in the same boat, except Kingdom Hearts can suck it. Like, that game's just straight trash. But Resident Evil 2 is right now, I'm going to say it's on top of my list. Originally, I would have told you Sekiro. But once I got to that third boss and then didn't have the energy to even really try, I literally am not exaggerating. It wasn't like I got stuck and I was like, oh my God, I can't beat this guy. I tried like 5 times. And even when I tried 5 times, I was like half butting in. I was like just kind of studying what he was doing and I wasn't trying to beat him. And I was like, you know what? I just don't care. And because I didn't get to a place where I was like, I have to beat this game and see it through, Sekiro drops for me, especially since I've beaten Resident Evil 2 twice and then already started the third playthrough, and I stopped it only because, oh my God, the most annoying character in the game got even more annoying. And I was like, okay, you need to die. And oh wait, I can't kill you, so suck it. So I just stopped playing it.
Are you talking about Mr. X?
Oh yeah, he's so freaking annoying. I hate his face. Like he's
a lot.
He's worse in the second. Okay, so for people that don't understand what I did, I beat the game on PC, but I bought it on Xbox One so Tim and I would have it, like on Xbox One. And again, I love my PC or whatever, but I do like to just lounge in the living room, turn it on my my HDR big screen TV. And so I was like, maybe I'll play it again. I did. I got hooked, and I beat Resident Evil 2 on Xbox One X with Leon, which I did. Why am I forgetting her name now?
Claire.
Claire I did on PC.
Yeah, Claire.
So I had to start my second playthrough on the Xbox One X with Claire. And I'm like, cool, they're giving me all this ammo and stuff. Now I know why they gave me all this ammo and stuff, because Mr. X is like more in your face. Like he's like more annoying in your second playthrough than he was in the first one. I'm like, oh my God. So anyways, that being said, I've already beat the game twice. I started a third playthrough. I probably will go back to it eventually. So that's definitely on top of my list. Sekiro would probably be 2. Devil May Cry 5 would be 3.
Yeah, good one.
Mortal Kombat 11 would be 4. And then it would come down to, and I'm just doing top 5, I'm not doing top 10. Either between Division 2 and Rage 2. Now, the only reason why I'm keeping Rage 2 in there is because I think if I go and beat it, I'll think more highly of it.
Yeah,
I just kind of stopped playing it. I didn't stop playing it because I'm like, this game sucks. I just stopped playing it because I, again, bought it on PC, and I don't always stick to my PC playthrough. Yeah. But I think those right now, those 6 games are my stick-out games. Obviously, if I was to keep going, I would throw Anthem in there. But that being said, that shows you to me how weak this year is. And don't get me wrong.
The first half of the year is not great.
I think Devil May Cry 5 is outstanding. Like, I like the Devil May Cry franchise, but I never expected to like 5 as much as I like 5. And I think Sekiro is probably the best game ever made by From Software. That's how good I think it is. But I also think it's stupid. And I know people are going to have a problem with my opinion, and that's because I was trying to explain it to, like, Rob. Because Rob bought it, and I was like, Rob, you shouldn't have bought Sekiro. He was like, why? And I was like, because in the other From Software games, you can go and kill the little crap enemies over and over and over, and eventually you'll get enough souls or whatever to then level up. And then as you keep leveling up, even if you're not getting really good at the game, you can still go beat bosses just because your weapons will be stronger, you'll be stronger, and you get the point, right? Your character is getting stronger. Well, Sekiro has eliminated... plus, obviously, the other Souls games have co-op. Sekiro has eliminated co-op, and then they've eliminated the ability for you to upgrade your character. I'm not talking about skills. I know what those are. Upgrade your character as far as getting stronger or getting more, or I shouldn't say stronger, your weapon getting more efficient and your character getting more health behind you having to beat bosses.
Isn't that the whole point of get good, though? Isn't the whole point of get good?
That's what I'm saying.
You have to get better.
I understand, like, the hardcore From Software people are like, dude, you're just making excuses, you're a whiner, blah, blah, blah. But anybody who's played From Software games, and I've beaten Dark Souls 3 twice, I've beaten Bloodborne 4 times, and I didn't cheat by doing co-op every 5 seconds. But if I got stuck on a boss for a really long time, like a really long time, or it felt impossible, there was at least the option to do co-op. With Sekiro, I have no options. It's just get good or don't finish the game. And again, I'm not whining. I'm not going to write a letter to From Software and tell them to put an easy mode in. I'm not going to tell them that they should have designed the game differently. This is how they designed it. I'm just saying, personally, I have no desire to spend the next 80 years of my life figuring out how to beat all the bosses. Other people have done it, but not me. I'm tired. I'm old and I'm tired, and I feel like I'm good enough at those games that I'm like, I don't have to prove myself to anybody.
They give you some skills that allow you to finally beat enemies that otherwise are really tough. For example,
skills do help. They're
very early in the game, there's a 2-orb enemy. I guess he's not even really a boss of any kind. Anyway, there's a 2-orb enemy who has this long spear, this pike, and he's really tough to beat. Almost, as far as I know, like I couldn't beat him at all until I went and upgraded the skill where if you do the timing right, you can actually step down with your foot on those pikes as they lunge at you, and then you can get this stun hit in on them and essentially take a whole orb away. Things like that. So they give you some tools for some enemies like that. But you're right. You're 100% correct. You can't just sit there and grind your way to a stronger character to then kind of blunt force your way through the enemies. You have to either come up with some weird new strategy like you and I talked about back when this game came out with the fat drunk dude, the drunkard guy, or other bosses like that we kind of had to figure out a strategy for. So, and again, could be good, could be bad, depends on your preference.
It's a great game. I still think it's their best game that they've ever created as far as gameplay and all that stuff. It's just for me where I am now. Maybe 2 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, get good, blah blah blah. But where I am now, I'm like, I don't give a crap. Like, I don't care if I beat it ever. So I don't care.
Well, let's not forget about Apex Legends, one of the better games released this year, although it's not really my thing. We talked about online, it's not really my thing. But Apex Legends is really high quality. It's one of the better online shooters that's out there, and it's got that battle royale mode to it. People love it, and apparently this new season 2 that just came out, they've really improved some things. The rewards are much better. There's a new champion that's coming out if she isn't out already. So Apex Legends deserves all the love in the world. It's just not going to be one of my favorites.
It's not going to be in my top 10 because it's just.
But I have to acknowledge that it's good.
But I probably put 20 or 30 hours in it, just playing like with my pastor and his son.
Yeah, it's a fun game. But I'm with you on games like Devil May Cry 5. That one's certainly up there. One I left off the list because it was so recent by accident was Super Mario Maker 2, because it did come out in June. It's technically first half of the year. That's got an 88 Metacritic average. That's definitely in my top 5. I don't know what order I'd put these in yet, so I'm just naming 5. Those two are definitely in there. Trials Rising is up there for me right now, but I don't think it's going to last. It's probably at the bottom half of that list. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, but it is indeed just more Trials. So it's very good, but it's probably wouldn't be as high as stuff like the ones I mentioned already, as well as The Division 2 is definitely in my top 5 right now. We'll see what happens with how things shake out the rest of the year, but I really loved The Division 2. And then I'm kind of like Derek in that I've got this weird 5th place spot. There's a couple things that I really like. You know, is it Trials Rising that should go there? I really like Rage 2 a lot.
What about Days Gone?
Days Gone isn't on the list. It'd probably be in the top 10 now by default, just because there's not that many. But it would not be in the top 5. But Wargroove for me would be in there. I love strategy games, and that one really, really, really was good.
You like really bad games, yeah.
Wargroove is amazing.
It's like mandatory. In case Daniel, I know you listen to our show, but like in case you haven't figured it out, it's like mandatory that he puts one really, really bad, stupid game in his top 10s, top 5s. If I tell him top 1, he's gonna pick one really bad game. He's like, well, I gotta pick Wargroove.
By stupid, you mean indies, which I know you love more than both of us. Really, you just don't want to admit it. Is all.
So what's your top game for this year, Tim? Well, I mean, it would, normally it would be, Sekiro or Devil May Cry 5, but I gotta go with Wargroove. Why?
No, listen,
because it's mandatory.
I will tell you when a indie game is bad. I've told you this before. Whether it's Grow Home, right, or Gone Home, either one of those are both. Those are not good, but everyone loves them. What's that one that everyone loved recently?
Journey.
No, Undertale. Everyone loved Undertale. So I played it. That game is garbage. It's absolute garbage.
You always have to put trash in.
I will tell you when an indie game is overrated, and I think some of those really certainly are. But
what about that Pedro game?
Pedro's a lot of fun, but not in my top 5. It gets the difficulty spike is a little bit uneven. It's where it honestly for me a lot of those games the concepts can be new and original and fun and kind of some throwbacks, but it's very rare that one breaks through and measures up to what the top developers can do. And that's because I feel like it's got to be really tough to truly balance out a game experience from start to finish, where the difficulty builds appropriately, where it's not too long or too short of a game. You know what I mean? Like that, balancing a game properly, I can't imagine is a very easy task. Games like my friend Pedro, a lot of fun, really cool premise and concept for the gameplay. But I think they struggle with difficulty spikes and controlling that curve. And so it gets a little bit difficult a little bit quickly.
All right, so I think
it is fun.
So in this show, I think we should do this. I think this will be fun. Name one game or two, but just make it quick and don't talk about it for an hour and a half. And I'm talking to myself too. Name one or two games that have disappointed you so far that you played. And then after you do that, pick go through a few games that you think could possibly be in your top 5, top 10 that have not released yet. Like
all right,
games that you're
second
like,
half
okay.
of the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do the
I like that.
The disappointments first.
Well, you start first
with
no, you give us your disappointment. I know you've got one.
Okay, so I've got 2 of them, and I'll go real fast. Metro Exodus was a huge disappointment to me, and I did give it quality time, and I maybe I'll go back to it, but it was just so boring. And then the other one would be probably Anthem. No. Kingdom Hearts 3. What a
come
piece of
on.
garbage.
What?
What a piece of garbage, guys.
No,
Like,
you know what's a piece of garbage you
trash.
are, right? You're a piece of garbage.
Like, absolute trash. Like, I'm telling you.
No,
Garbage.
for something to be disappointing, don't you have to expect something?
I
And then it
did.
doesn't
I
deliver?
was the one who bought the game. I was like super okay. Hey, I'm recording. You're dancing on
And
live
I'm TikTok,
TV.
I'm TikTok famous, please. So.
That's my son. Yeah. Hi, son. Don't hit me.
That's Taco Bell.
You sound like a man right now. All right, I'm in the middle of the show. We're trying to end this.
So there's a cute boy at the ride.
Oh my God, you're doing story time right now.
I want to talk for a Snapchat.
I want to hear about this cute boy.
She's carrying like 30 things in her hand, talking about boys.
She has like Taco Bell. She has bag. She went to Busch Gardens. She has bagged cereal.
Nice.
Why do you have bagged cereal? Seriously. But anyways, so Kingdom Hearts 3. Yes, I was excited for that game because remember, I even said I'm kind of hoping this will be like my Final Fantasy 15. Like I'll just get sucked in by the gameplay. I don't care about the story, but I'll just love the gameplay. It was trash. So those are my 2.
All right, Daniel, what would be kind of some of the more disappointing ones so far this year for you? If any, maybe you're just a perfectly optimistic and happy dude.
Well, I'm not that, but I'm scrolling through my trophies, and I'm like, there's nothing this year that I could say I actually like disliked or hated.
Nice.
I mean, I would say the last thing I disliked, not disliked, but I just didn't like as much as I liked the first one was Ni no Kuni 2.
Oh, okay, that was from last year. So there you go.
I might have played that this year though.
Did you play stuff like Days Gone and Far Cry New Dawn and Rage 2?
I do want to play Days Gone. I don't want to spend $60 on it. Just there was something about it for a while that I was like, I want to play this game, but I don't want to spend $60 on it. I think
100% buy it when it's 20. I'm telling you.
Wait till it's cheap, man.
I'm 20 plus hours into it, and I have a feeling if I do actually go back to it and beat it, that I will put it in my top 10, maybe at 10.
Really?
And yeah, I think it's fun. I played over 20 hours of it.
Like, I mean, okay, but even looking at the second half of the year, what's on the way, you still think it would make top 10?
No.
Okay.
I was lying. I was just trying to hype it for
All right. Fair enough.
And then,
I actually do have one from this year. Actually, did Dark Souls 3 come out this year?
No.
no,
right.
man. Daniel, you're off this podcast, dude. You are an idiot.
Well, Dark
That's my
Souls 3 was not that great.
Guys, the Bloodborne come out.
I
on
am
the
so
Nintendo
happy to
Switch.
hear you say that. I got overruled on a podcast about that a little while back.
Yeah, I don't know. I played for about 15, 20 hours, and then I was just like, this is getting really redundant. I'm kind of bored, and then I just stopped playing it, which I don't do often with games. I stopped playing. I mean, I don't know.
for me, disappointment comes in a couple different forms. Number one, it comes with one of my most anticipated games after it was announced, I think at the Game Awards in December, was Far Cry New Dawn. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. It was more Far Cry 5. It was like kind of a more neon, colorful version of it. But I've talked about this before. I wanted more from it, and it was literally less. So it was like, here, buy this new game, and it's going to be, sure, it doesn't cost as much, and that's great. I understand that. But like when I played Far Cry Primal, for all of its flaws, it was a completely new experience, and I loved it. But Far Cry New Dawn just feels like very much a retread of 5 with kind of time. Some time has passed, and some things are different, but it just wasn't exciting. It just didn't do it for me. So that was disappointing. Days Gone and Anthem, both very similarly, had me at the beginning. They really hooked me right out of the gate, and I thought, okay, these are both good. People are over criticizing these, but then both of them had these certain moments where all of a sudden I just felt, and I can't really describe exactly what it was. Maybe it was a certain mission that all of a sudden I'm like, I just did this. They're making me do this again. Days Gone makes you really travel a lot, very repetitively in a way that gets annoying. And Anthem has very repetitive missions and enemy types like Derek just talked about. Both of those fell off a cliff for me, and I was pretty disappointed by both of those as well. And ironically, you could say Crackdown 3 is a disappointment based on the years of anticipation for it.
Sure.
But I heard the reviews for it and the hate for it before I played it. So I was actually pleasantly surprised when I finally played it and I finished it all the way through. And I thought that was a really fun, silly, arcadey, shallow game.
Still let down. As somebody who did the same thing. Like before I played it, I heard all the hate, and now it's like, okay, so it's just Crackdown 1 redone 15 years, whatever the years are later, essentially. But it's still let down as far as, come on, it's 2019.
Well, that's fair.
You had like 17 years to release this game and do
Yes.
it right and blow us away, and you didn't. You like half-assed it.
I wanted an 8 out of 10 at minimum for a game like this. Of course, I wanted it to be really, really great.
Destructive environments. They should have had like this over-the-top funny story. You have a great main character. They could have done it, and they didn't do it.
Yeah. No, I in the long term, if you look at the huge like multi-year calendar, it's a disappointment. When you look at the shorter term, the news that surrounded it, all the delays around it, I started to get nervous. Like, this is probably not going to be that great. And I ended up having fun with it. Yeah. So I guess to me, it wasn't technically a disappointment, whereas something like Anthem with BioWare at the helm, and I really thought this is going to be amazing. And it kind of started fast, and I really enjoyed it, and then it sputters quickly. So I was very disappointed with that. But thinking more positively here about the second half of the year, I'm just going to quickly read through a list here of some games that are coming out. We've got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. We've got Fire Emblem 3 Houses. By the way, Dragon Quest Builders 2 just released, if that's your thing. Wolfenstein Youngblood, Astral Chain, Borderlands 3, Link's Awakening, Madden NFL 20. This really cool-looking RPG called Oninaki. If you haven't checked that one out, go check it out. It looks really cool. Control, the new game from Remedy, comes out in September.
Really fast,
I think.
No, it's August. It comes out late August.
In August, yeah, okay. Blair Witch, Daemon Ex Machina, Code Vein, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Very inspired title, by the way. The Outer Worlds, Death Stranding, Pokemon, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Shenmue 3, Doom Eternal, and probably, even though it doesn't have a date yet, Luigi's Mansion 3, I imagine, is going to drop this year. So, and I know there's lots of others, but that's just kind of to refresh us on some of the stuff that's coming out. For me personally, I think the stuff that is almost certainly going to end up making my top list somewhere, top 5, top 10, something, is going to have to be Fire Emblem. I would say that unless the team at id Software drops the ball, I think Wolfenstein Youngblood will be up there for me. Those are always really fun. I enjoy those games and their wacky stories. I imagine the Link's Awakening remake is going to be on my list. If we can allow Resident Evil 2 on there, I don't know why we wouldn't allow the Link's Awakening remake.
Yeah, I think that should be included.
So I think that's going to make it. And then Doom Eternal is almost a lock, unless they completely drop the ball. So those are ones I think are locks, and there's probably a few others that, some dark horses like Astral Chain or maybe Star Wars Fallen Order could end up delivering. Did you
say Borderlands 3, or do you not think that will?
Oh yeah, Borderlands 3 I think could totally deliver as well. That one to me has potential to also be a bit of a, more Borderlands 2. Like, I don't think it's going to be that, but it's always got that potential. If it's like, what have they actually improved outside of adding more and more guns, which is cool. But so those are some of the ones I think that could make my list. Daniel, what about you? What could make your list, do you think?
Actually, fun fact about Astral Chain, a lot of the people that worked on Nier Automata are working on that. So
yes.
There's a lot of potential for that to end up being very
not buying that now.
Well, that's because you're a sexist pig. You're like, that 2B or whatever her name was. I don't want to play that female lead character. I'm not.
No, he really liked her.
I enjoy playing with her.
Yeah,
I was just trying to find a way to insult you, so shut up.
He's dirty.
Upskirt it, baby. Upskirt it.
Dude, that's exciting. I'm glad to hear that. And I also know that they built the game around a mechanic first and then filled in the story and all that afterwards. So I'm getting pretty excited for that, but I'm holding my hopes in check. It could end up being kind of one of their lower tier efforts, but I'm hopeful that it's great.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. But I would say that the two main ones for me is the Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, just because I've actually never played that, and I've heard it's one of the best Zelda games.
So fun.
Just really unique story.
I burned through a lot of AA batteries playing that game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I never played any of the Game Boy ones.
Yeah, man.
Like any of them. Well, actually,
and then we got the Game Boy Color kind of up-res version of it, because if I remember correctly, they put out like a Link's Awakening. I don't know if it was called DX or whatever, but it was like a Game Boy Color version. So
DX sounds about right.
Yeah.
So that, and apparently neither of you care about Death Stranding. A bunch of monsters.
Trash.
I read it over as quickly as I could because I don't care about it.
Oh god, you guys are the worst. See that right there? I quit. All right, see you later.
Oninaki sounds better than Death Stranding. The story probably makes more sense.
Oninaki, that's actually shout out to that too, because that's the next Tokyo RPG Factory.
Yeah, man, that's great. But it's an action RPG instead of turn-based.
Yeah, and that does actually look very good.
I'm way more interested in that. I was just looking at a video. I was like, I think I'm gonna buy that.
Kojima, Death Stranding is Kojima unhinged, like I've said before. All right, he doesn't have Konami breathing down his neck, telling him to make.
I would rather him have Konami breathing down.
No, you don't. All right, because Konami is terrible, and they should burn to the ground.
Dude, if we get to Game of the Year discussions, and I'm sitting there going, guys, if Death Stranding's at the top of my list, I'm gonna be pumped. That's gonna be great news. I just expect it to be one of those games that I start and then laugh out loud as I uninstall it. So.
Laugh out loud, huh? Like, oh, what a comedic game.
In fact, Daniel, in order to join our podcast full time, you have to buy both Tim and I a copy of that game because we so really want it.
Yeah. We haven't talked about our second half of the year purchases yet, but I know neither one of us actually want to spend money on that one.
We probably will end up just going half so we're relevant. Like,
probably.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have that episode be about Death Stranding, but it's just gonna be me and Derek.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just us two talking about Death Stranding together.
No, I tell you what. How about this? How about throughout
on GameStop while
I'll be on there. I'll be on there, but instead of actually contributing to the conversation, I will just randomly read quotes from various Kojima games to show you how out of his mind he is when it comes to writing a story. But
insane people make the best art.
Oh my word! Someone did this. Oh, it was the Giant Bombcast recently. After the most recent Democratic debate or whatever, when they had like 5,000 candidates that are up on the stage or whatever, there's their really airheaded crazy one.
AOC.
Marianne Williamson, I think her name is.
Okay.
She's really out there. And so as an example, one of the things she said was that our current president, Donald Trump, has led this nation into a place of hate or whatever. I was talking a lot about hate and about how the only thing that's going to defeat hate is love. And sir, I will meet you on the battlefield with love, and love will win. Like, she's that kind of like flower child. And so
she's a hippie.
Someone on the Giant Bombcast took random quotes from her, just in general, from speeches she's made, and then Metal Gear Solid quotes. and they actually had trouble figuring out which was which sometimes.
There you go. Okay. So she is a big fan of Kojima's work.
Yes, without a doubt.
That's awesome.
I mean, maybe
I will vote for her now. I was making fun of her, but now I'm like,
she is out there. Yeah.
All right.
Sounds pretty great to me. So
I'll finish off the show by going through the ones I think. I think Fire Emblem Three Houses will be in my top 10, probably the latter part. Wolfenstein Youngblood, I'm only going to say it has a shot because out of all the Wolfenstein games, it actually looks like it's just going to be craziness and not the slower pace, like story-driven stuff that we got with the two main ones. This is also a cheaper
Which
title.
made those ones good, but yeah, continue.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, the story, you mean?
Yeah, the talking part, the part I check out on. So I think that has a shot. Astral Chain is a wild card.
Yes,
I am interested, but I seriously doubt I will like it. Borderlands 3 will definitely be in my top 10 unless they completely screw it up. It's probably a top 5.
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, never played it, so I'm super excited for that. I do think it will make my top 10. Control, I like who makes Control, so that...
Yeah, you like you're a Remedy fan.
Yep. Code Vein looks cool. I think Ghost Recon Breakpoint will be amazing. I just don't think it'll be like a top 10
I don't think
game
people
for me.
loved Code Vein coming out of the they did like a beta run or something.
I'm not hearing good impressions.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't heard anything, so I was going into it.
I hope that it's sharpened up by them. Yeah, people weren't necessarily loving what they played so far.
I'll have to do research. The Outer Worlds, I think, will be good. I think that will be a top 10.
Could be.
I think
Obsidian, yeah.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order will be top 10 for me. Death Stranding definitely will not be top 10. And then Doom Eternal will probably be top 5.
You're the
Oh,
worst.
I'm super excited for
Dude, like Doom Eternal looks so fun. The stuff they've added to it, oh my gosh, I just cannot wait. It looks like a lot of fun.
It's all about the music, really, at the end of the day. That
Dude, I
soundtrack.
still remember when I finally played Doom, 2016 Doom, and I finally played it, and that whole opening sequence is like, yeah, okay, it's kind of fun, it's kind of cool. But it's when you're going down the elevator and you're ready to step out into your first real level, and he just cocks that shotgun right and beat with the music.
Yeah.
It goes like jun jun, and then the music kind of fades down as you step out into the planet. It's like this is pretty freaking awesome.
It's so metal.
Yeah, it's very cool. All right, well there you go. There's your brief look at how things are shaping up for 2019. I think it is fair to say it's not as strong of a year as we're used to. We've been spoiled. 2017 and 2018 were both pretty amazing, and 2019 is shaping up a little more like 2016 did, where you've got a few flashes in the pan, but overall just okay. And I'm not that surprised because it looks like the first 4 months of 2020 are absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's gonna be exhausting almost on the wall.
Can we change our podcast name to like Love Trumps Hate or something like that? I just think that would be a really good podcast name. Love Trumps Hate, a video game podcast.
And then like a picture of her face and Kojima's face like next to each other. Like but it, like Metal Gear font. Do like Metal Gear font.
Yeah.
Love Trumps Hate. I will meet you on the battlefield of love. Are you hitting on me right now?
And love will win.
What's her name again?
I want to say it's Marianne Williamson. Let me look it up.
Marianne. Instead of Snake, right?
Yeah, Marianne Williamson. And
well, I got a crush on her now.
Her website, the mission statement is, our goal is to generate a massive wave of energy fueled by we the people.
So
this is what happens when you put women in charge. They say stuff like this.
So so she's gathering energy. So is she doing a spirit bomb? Like no Dragon Ball Z fans? No?
Well, there's no Dragon Ball Z fans, so keep those.
I do like some Dragon Ball Z. No, sorry, I was looking through some of this.
You're the worst, Derek.
Hey, she wrote a book in 92 called A Return to Love.
Man, what a hippie.
93, she wrote a book called A Woman's Worth.
So she's going, is she part of the Democratic Party?
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, does that sound like a Republican to you?
Well, no, but I'm saying usually the hippies are, the other dudes, the independent or whatever.
Can you take your cereal back, please?
Okay, let me read you guys a couple quotes to send us off here, okay? Joy is what happens to us when we allow ourselves to recognize how good things really are. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Oh, shut up. Like, what does that even mean?
It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
We're not talking to you.
Oh.
Love is what we were born with. Fear is what we learned here. Remember that. Take that with you.
We weren't born into fear. We were born into love.
What is that music right now?
I was doing Metal Gear. I was doing the Metal Gear theme.
Oh, thank you.
Then I realized
appreciate-
YouTube might take us down, so I turned it off.
DJ Daniel.
By the way, and here's my last piece of advice I'll give you from Marianne Williamson. The first step of forgiveness is the willingness to forgive.
Are you freaking serious? Mind blown.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's
Yeah.
why I can't forgive people.
It's amazing.
I'm not willing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I
We
think
should stop
we need-
making fun of her. She's very smart.
I think we need to have Marianne on this podcast. Is what we need to do. You guys should
I
have.
think this is what this show should be. We should just make fun of people. Forget video games. Let's just make fun of people and each
Oh, I
other.
would love that. I would love that.
All right, let's just put like a picture of Sasan up and just have at it. Let's just meet him on the battlefield of love.
Dude, if you met Sasan on the battlefield, he'd rip you in half. That dude is jacked.
Battlefield of
He'd
love.
rip you in half. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, sure.
Battlefield.
Love will win.
He has no love.
Yes, love trumps hate, guys. Come on. Let's go.
If we're talking about his muscles, he'll rip you in half. If he's talking about his heart, then I don't know.
Look, I got something there. There's something.
Sure.
There. It's not that bad.
It looks like a mosquito bite. That's cute. Look at that mosquito bite.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get out of here. You guys
Flirting
can
with me,
continue
Tim.
if you want.
Tell him to stop.
How
All right,
you
thank
doing?
you guys. Thank you everyone for listening. Daniel and Derek, thanks for taking time. We'll talk to you later.
Hopefully I can get through this show because most of our shows are trash. Just wanted to give you that positive feedback.
I look forward to the future. Thank you.
Tim, I hate your beard. Daniel, you're ugly. Or you're bad.
Who is your daddy? I am the father.
You fathers will understand.
My father taught me many things.
I got an idea. How about you all sit there quietly while I make dad noises?